regarding the £1,000 grant application from HMES. Firstly, I listened to Councillor Smith's definition of a community group earlier. The HMES are a private hobby group. They have said that themselves. I can't see the benefit to the community. Yes, they do give train rides, but apart from that, they have alienated the majority of people in Hamforth because we can't use the pavilion. They have sole lease on it, when they're running the trains. And this equipment, I would think that it would be classed as plant. And I can't see any other group or person in Hamforth being able to use that equipment, and because it's going to cost more than the £500, it couldn't meet, and they don't meet any of the criteria laid down for that, and it certainly isn't a community group.
Okay, thank you Mrs Walsh for that. We do have a person from Haynes. Do you wish to make a comment?
As far as I was concerned, I'm John Coglan, the chairman of HMES. As far as I understood it, we were a community group. Cheshire East Council certainly regarded us as such. Manchester Airport did when they gave us a grant. And we do get an awful lot of people coming and having rides on the train. When we are there, the facilities are for people to use. I have been warned by Mr Beckett that we have to be careful about health and safety using the facilities. Such things even including Legionella in the loos. So we have to be wary of that. But when we are there, if people want to use them at their own risk, they're welcome to.
Are you a community group such that if anybody wanted to join it, they could?
Excuse me, can we come through the chair? Mrs Walsh.
Can I come back on that?
Yeah.
It's not acceptable to say that whilst people are there, they can use them at their own risk. Obviously, I'm presuming that yourself or some members of your group are bang up to date with health and safety, and that is not acceptable that you can use it at your own risk. And apart from you giving train rides, I can't see what benefits giving this £1,000 for equipment, which would be predominantly solely for the use of the members of HMES that were able to operate it. I can't see if that would be of any benefit whatsoever to the community. And when you, by your own volition, you have said that you are a hobby group, a private hobby group, you are not a community group.
Can I just answer that? We're not a private hobby group. We're open to anybody with an interest in engineering who would like to join. If we have the equipment, we can get trains out more often, so more people will enjoy the benefit of them.
I appreciate that if you get this equipment, it will make it easier for you to pursue your hobby.
Provide more benefit.
But it isn't providing a benefit to the community at large.
Well, we're never going to agree on that, I don't think.
No, well, we're probably not going to agree on that. But as you know, because John has already been to a meeting with the Friends of Merriton Road Park, and it seems that because you have the sole lease on the pavilion, and all the equipment that is in there is for the use of your members, not members of the public. Therefore, I ask that this council refuses this £1,000 grant application, because you don't fit the criteria on many points, which I'm sure all councillors are aware of, because I have a copy of your grant awarding policy here, and with paragraphs 5, 9, 16, 19 and 23, you fall short of fitting the criteria to have a grant awarded by this parish council.
Chair, we've already discussed that.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss the actual procedure in more depth, but it doesn't affect this as our financial officers as stated.
Chair, I don't agree. I think this lady's perfectly entitled to put a point across and say why she thinks it shouldn't be allowed.
I think she has done.
Yeah.
But I've not said it's not valid. I'm not saying it's not acceptable. What I'm saying is that we've had a long discussion about those particular clauses.
Excuse me, who's we?
the finance committee meeting.
All right, but we're the general council now. We haven't had a long discussion about it.
Well, we haven't come
Well,
to that
we're
item
not on
on the
that yet, are
agenda
we?
yet.
No, but you just said we. You're not talking for me. Excuse me.
That's right.
Well, you're saying it shouldn't be discussed because
No.
everybody here
No,
was
I didn't say it
present.
shouldn't be discussed. I'm saying, is there any value in discussing it once more after Mrs Walsh has finished speaking about it?
Chair, if the question's been asked by a member of the public, then we should discuss it.
Okay, that's fine. We'll take on board your comments, Mrs Wall. Mr Royal.
I was just going to ask if a scout group applied for a grant for new tents and said that these tents were for the use of the scouts and anybody wanted to join their group could use the equipment. Is that not a similar situation to what we have here?
Thank you. Very good analogy, Mr Royal. Thank
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's Chair, it's just hypothetical. The grant hasn't been applied for, so it's not applicable to this conversation as far as I'm concerned.
But excuse me, Councillor Clark. The Scouts applied for a sit-on lawnmower.
Well, I'm not interested in what's happened in the past. I'm interested in what's happened with what's happening with this application.
Okay.
We have given grants for tents in the past.
But why are we discussing we're looking at this application? We're not looking historically at other applications and making comparisons.
No,
we're
but
looking at this application.
As you
The
said, we
public
just...
comment was that the community couldn't benefit from this hoist. So, Mr Royal gave
What's a hoist got to do with tents? Look,
Nothing.
he was given a comparison, if you
Oh
like.
my
What's
God.
the difference between us giving a grant for tents and giving a grant for a hoist? What's
Because
the difference?
it's not. You look at the community. You look at the community association, and the Scouts do a lot more for the community than the railway station ever did.
Well, that's
has.
your opinion, Councillor Clark.
Well, I'm entitled to my opinion too. I'm
Of course
entitled to
you
say
are.
it. And the Scouts are much more community-minded. Would we not agree that the Scouts are very community? If we're going to talk about the Scouts,
We're not-
are they not a very community-minded
We're not
association?
discussing, sorry, if I'm trying to say, Chair, we're not discussing how community-minded the Scouts are. What Mrs Walsh said was that this hoist won't be available for other people in the community. And what the member of the public said was, if we gave a grant to the Scouts for tents, those tents won't be available to the general community. They would only be able to be used by the Scouts, which is the same as this hoist being used by HMES. It's the same. It's a very good analogy.
I rather thought that we agreed as a parish council to buy the tents for the Scouts on the basis that if the community did want to use it,
No.
then they
Yeah,
could.
we
The
did.
children use them. Is that not the
It
community?
was an
then, the
analogy that
children?
the member of the public made, not whether we should
Well,
pay
let's
for
go
tents.
back to the analogy then. Who uses the tents for the Scouts then?
Scouts.
Yeah, the community.
No,
Are they not
Right.
children? Are
only
they not
people who are members
children?
of the Scouts use them.
Are they not children of the community?
No, but only people who are members of that group use it. That's what I think Mr Rowe was mentioning. It's people of that group use that equipment.
But
Don't they?
as I've just said, I think that when we awarded that grant, it was on the basis that the parish council could request the use of those tents.
Okay, so when we made a
For other
grant,
people in the community.
so when we gave a grant to the tennis club,
Oh, Chair, can I move on? It's
that grant-
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Mr.
sorry, just
Barrett.
wait a minute,
We've got
Councillor.
questions.
You make sure that, I'd rather speak, please. You made sure that, we heard what was said previously. The grant to Handforth Tennis Club wasn't to the general community in Handforth, it was to facilitate tennis at the tennis club.
For the children that coming in from the
Yes.
school. Is
Yes.
that not the community
Not,
then?
not for members
Yes,
of the
but
club.
not for, yes, but not for those people who can't play tennis, or don't play tennis, or don't want to play tennis. It is specific to them. So
Well,
that's
you-
why
you
it's
just make
specific.
these-
Okay, one
I'd
question
just
and
like
then
to
we'll
say
move on.
that there's a big difference between giving a grant to purchase equipment that can be used for the community, and I think Councillor Talbot was correct actually, because I was actually at the meeting when the money was awarded to the tents, and the tents were to be made available for other community groups in Handforth. But there is a lot of difference between purchasing equipment that the general community could use and specialist equipment that would not be able to be used by the general community of Hanford. And there's a big difference there.
I just don't understand where Mrs. Walsh is coming from. We are open to everybody. Anybody can join if they want to learn anything about engineering. Scouts are involved with us. The local school, the Grange, is involved with us. What do you need to be a community group?
Okay, thank you. Right, we need to move on, thank you. 19034, to approve and sign the minutes of Hanford Parish Council Planning and Environmental Committee dated the 9th of October.
I'm waiting to see you, Kerry, that's all.
It's just you to sign, Kerry, with us. Just you there.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Propose for acceptance.
Yeah, propose.
Second.
All in favour? Thank you. 19035, to approve and sign the minutes of Hanford Parish Council meeting of the 11th of December. I wasn't
We will
here.
have everything on the road.
Yeah. Didn't take long, really, did it?
No. You have to
Propose.
Propose, thank you, Brian.
Second.
And happy with it?
Yeah.
So 3 favour and the rest abstention.
Yeah.
I think it's taken us longer to approve the minutes than it did to have
The
it.
meeting, yeah.
19036, to approve and sign the order of accounts for payment for January 2019. Okay, page 1, any comments?
I don't like the spelling of stationery.
Page 2. And the receipt list.
No, you don't have to see what's on here. That's,
Oh,
that's
sorry,
done,
no.
that's all done.
That's all
Yeah,
done,
that's all
yeah.
done.
I have a
Proposer.
proposer. Yeah, seconder. All in favour? Thank you. 19037, to receive a report from the clerk.
Okay, the New Homes Bonus Scheme. You've probably heard this already, but due to the overwhelming popularity of the scheme, further time is required to evaluate, score and recommend the projects received to ensure the scheme outcomes are achieved. New Homes Bonus have made the decision to defer by approximately 4 weeks each of the award group meetings, which were originally planned to take place in January. In preparation for these meetings in February, New Homes Bonus will provide me with access to a SharePoint site to enable me to view the applications that have been received. In total, New Homes Bonus have received over 200 applications, together with a further 1,500 supporting documents, which accumulate to over £7 million worth of project applications. Hanforth Garden Village. Before Engine of the North submit the planning application they're putting together, they would like to consult the local community. I know you only received this like last week or the week before or something along those lines. They would like to invite you to a preview event for stakeholders, which will take place between 2:30 and 3:30 tomorrow. It's here. Where's the 16th?
What time is that?
2:30, 3:30. This is for parish councillors. On Wednesday the 16th of January at Hanforth Youth Centre. And then the exhibition will be open to the general public between 3:30 and 7:30. But you're welcome to attend at any time. Members of the Engine of the North team will be on hand to answer queries you might have about the project. Finally, highways. The carriageway at the Epsom Road roundabout has been treated by Highways, and the road surface is in a much better condition. The drainage of this location was found to be functioning correctly, however the grid had become blocked with debris which has been removed.
Can I make one comment, please? I'll come to you in a minute. Can you circulate this report with the agenda items, please?
Yeah, you wouldn't have some of the information.
No, I know, but you can always update as well.
Right, fine, yeah, but you wouldn't have a lot of this
No.
information.
Okay.
Regarding highways,
Yeah.
an update. The traffic lights at the top of the road there between Winslow Road, Station Road and Beauty Road have been blocked. with debris and whatnot,
Oh, the gullies.
the gullies.
Ah.
And what's happened is on Sunday, highways came down and actually
Oh,
cleared it out. And what they did find was that as part of their clearing process, paint and plaster had been poured down the grids.
oh, from the Freemasons refurbishment.
They didn't say where.
Oh.
It might have been, well, I won't say what name where it might have come from, but basically that's what they noted. But they did a fine job.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. 19038, to receive a report from our PCSO with an update, hopefully, of what's been going on in Handforth.
Thank you everyone. Start off with Operation Shield. The council should know about. Very well. Operation Shield is a property marking to prevent burglaries. The council have been generous enough to give us some money to be able to roll this out in Handforth. It's operating in everywhere else in Cheshire. Lumslow are one of the latecomers, but we're finally ready to go. We'll be rolling this out at the beginning of next month. We were hoping to roll it out in January, but with January being a mad month and everyone catching up after Christmas, we want to make sure press releases and everything go out to advertise, obviously the support we've had from yourselves and what we're going to be doing going forward. It's been decided that the Hall Road and Woodlands Road area of Handforth will be the first area for this to be rolled out on. The reasons for that: it works out best for cost, it's the biggest bang for your buck, because we need to signpost all the routes in and out of anywhere where the area is. There's only one in and out route. It's also historically where we do tend to get the most burglaries in Handforth, whether that's domestic burglaries or whether it is theft from motor vehicles in the area. So that's why that's been decided. If we can go forward and roll it out further, we'll obviously liaise with members of the public and the council for any suggestions where they'd like to do this. But that's where it's been decided to roll out first. The new bypass. Touch wood, apart from many complaints of speeding vehicles, accident-wise, happy to report they're looking very good. Highway is very happy with the layout. We've had our traffic bombs out to it as well. They have no issues. It's still to be decided if Greater Manchester Police will have authority over it or we will. I want it to be us. The reason Manchester have taken over is they have control over the rest of it. With how little they police up to the border, I think it would be better if we had authority over it, only because I'm the one getting the headaches for people complaining about speed on it, so it makes sense for me for us to have it. I'll let you know how we get on with that. That's probably going to go back and forth for the next couple of months.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Is there any view for any cameras to actually discourage speeding on it?
There will be mobile ones, myself or other officers. Permanent ones, no chance.
Is that a policy?
That is basically, unless statistics say for RTCs, etc., you don't get cameras. Carte blanche. They are screaming out on the new section of the 834 for Oldley Edge, because unfortunately for one reason or another there have been a couple of fatalities recently on there. Cameras aren't being looked at the moment for there. Well, luckily we have no statistics for our new stretch of the road, and if it stays like that, there won't be any cameras. But certainly I'd say the number, there is no need at the moment. Quick question for the clerk. The stakeholders meeting tomorrow in our village. Can I get a seat between 2:30 and 3:30? That's not an issue, is it?
No, no.
We are currently, there is a gentleman in court next month in relation to a few incidents we've had regarding teenagers being approached, threatened, and items being taken off them, even court next month. Can't give any more details until that's gone through, but hopefully there'll be a nice update at the next meeting once, fingers crossed, the individual's been charged. I think it's the middle of next month that goes through. And the other thing was a thank you with regards to the CCTV. We had a charge that went through for a quite nasty domestic incident. The only reason we got that home was because the CCTV showed the incident in the paddocks. So thank you very much for that. Any questions?
I know Councillor Tolver had a lot of data that he wanted answers to, and he was going to meet up. Councillor Tolver, have you met with the sergeant?
Yeah, I had a question I'll ask first, if I may, and then I'll update on it. The property marking thing that you're talking about, what kind of properties are you looking to do the marking on?
Any household items. The chemical that you use works, we're told.
It's kind of a DNA sort of thing, isn't it?
Basically, what it's been called in the past, smart water, is the old name for it. It's the same thing, it's a different company. But yes, basically, if your property is taken, we scan everything out that comes into our property system that's recovered. It means we can get it back to the owner.
Yeah.
So the big thing with this, the big
TVs and that kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely. It can be bikes, TVs, wallets, handheld devices. The big thing, the big difference for us with smart water and with the stuff we use for Ox Shield is we advertise it. There are signs that go up that is basically lets criminals know that Operation Shield works in this area. Anywhere we've put it, it lowers burglaries by 80%.
That's pretty good, that.
That's amazing. We can't do it.
Is there any possibility for a house to display a sticker, maybe in the porch window or something
Not
like
that
that?
we'd provide, but it's something we could look into.
I'm sure someone must be doing that somewhere.
I'm sure someone must be doing it. I think the reason we don't is cost. Basically, the reason we do the main arterial routes in and out is there's a nice big sign that says it's operating here.
Wouldn't it be appropriate for the Home Watch organisation to produce window stickers?
Again, it's something we can look into. Wherever we roll it out, that there is a Home Watch coordinator there, we will be liaising with them to let them know what we're doing, when the process is up to, and all the information, or as much as we can, obviously data protection, will be fed back through to the council as well, just to let you know what's happened, what sort of feedback we've had, positive, negative. So we'll be feeding everything back into yourselves as well.
Will householders just be given a bottle of smart water for them to self-apply to their various treasured items?
Yes, so there'll be some a very slight training, but it is that simple.
Right.
Myself, colleagues will be going around discussing, going through a bit of paperwork with them. Hopefully it should be a relatively quick process.
Right.
I've been told it is because it's yours truly that has to do the back office stuff afterwards. So yes, but it is literally, these are the chemicals, this is what we've got.
Okay.
Apply it to...
I ask these questions because I'm the Home Watch coordinator for the whole road group.
Yes, and you will be, yourselves will be getting packs, so we'll be in touch.
Chair, may I ask a question? Oh, go on, Brian. You go for it.
Go on, ask.
Okay. My question is about the noted speeding through red lights, which I know you're aware of.
Yes.
Do you routinely review the CCTV which the parish council has had in place?
If that's any requests we get, whether it be from councillors, members of the public, if they get in touch with Ashley, he contacts myself, we review it. At the moment, we have only done warnings.
Right. Well, I'm not talking about what action you take. It's just, as you know, lots of people are complaining about cars going through on red lights, you know, at the last minute and all that, where there's nearly going to be a fatality or something like that. Would it not be a good idea if possible, obviously you have your routine and your times, but if maybe an exercise could be to go through the camera records, say once a month, and say that's a breach, and then act upon it, just rather
Wouldn't
than.
that take rather a long time to watch?
Well, I don't know, I
24
don't know,
hours
maybe
over
that's-
2 months.
Sorry, can I just answer
CCTV.
That's contrary to how our system is put together. Not technically, but within our control,
policy.
our CCTV
Right,
policy.
okay.
We can't sit and have someone monitoring it all the time.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm saying like a review.
Or going through looking for crimes. We can only report that which has been reported by a member of the public or police that goes through Ashley. We can't sit there and look at it.
I must admit,
Chair, would it be possible to advertise this a bit better, because we probably don't get all the, because if they report the time to us, then we could look at it, could ask the clerk to look at it and then refer on as necessary.
That's what
If
has happened.
anybody complains to me, I say, what time did it happen? And I give them Ashley's number.
Yeah, Chair,
And
always,
they ring.
I'm
So
not
if
sure the
everybody
public,
does the same.
yeah, I'm not sure the public are aware though. Chair.
Advertising it more.
I mean,
Well, all right, we'll put it on our
I've
website
actually
to say
referred quite a few people to
CCTV.
Ashley over this issue.
All right.
Do you know what I mean? But I know that for whatever reason, there's a lot more happens than what gets, challenged.
People go through red all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where they are, they go through it.
Well,
Fast, they go through it
we're
slow.
completely reactive on it rather than proactive. We can't sit there
Have
and
we
look.
got any other questions for our PCSO?
2 points. There are 2 ways into the Woodlands estate. One is down Hall Road and one is down Brereton Road.
By vehicle, unfortunately, that's where we have to go. You can't get a vehicle.
Through Brereton.
Get back.
Or,
Okay.
You would get by.
Second point.
Yes.
At the traffic lights at the Freemasons Arms,
Yes.
when you pull up, whichever way you're travelling, when you pull up at the lights, you can see the light in front of you because it's on your side. Just have a look at it and see if you think it's safe. Because whenever I pull up, if I'm at the front, I can't see when the lights change because they're behind me. And when you look forward, there's no light pointing at me. I have to wait until the traffic on the other side starts moving forward. And I think, oh, right, the lights must have changed. And it's the same going the other way. There are no lights on the other side of the road when you stop.
If you approach that, if you're stopping too close to the line,
Not,
if
well,
you're up or out, there's nothing.
I think it's not satisfactory. If you think it's great, then I'm quite happy to just carry on what I'm doing.
Have you found that the person on the other side of the road is waiting for you to start to?
Exactly, because you don't know when the lights have changed unless you're further back and you can see the lights on your side. Every other set of traffic lights I know, you can look at the other side of the road and you see the coloured traffic lights, but not at the ones at the Freemasons Arms.
Can I make a point of what the DBSA recommend? Treat it as if there's no traffic lights there and go when it's safe.
But if I go on red, then I get pulled up.
No, because you can't see if it's on red, can you? Do you mean you're in the centre of the junction?
No, I've stopped at the traffic lights. I'm driving up, it's amber, I stop, turns red, and I've stopped on the line, and I can no longer see the lights because they are past my vision of view. I have to look at the lights on the other side, and there aren't any.
Well, you should be able to see.
Chair, I think maybe you're too close.
Yeah.
Well, move the line then.
Maybe the line's already there.
Well, that's just me,
Okay,
and all
okay.
here.
Thank you,
Everybody
thank
else
you.
that comes up to it is in the same boat.
I'm happy to get one of our traffic to review the road. If he thinks there's a problem, we'll put it through to Cheshire. So we'll
Right.
certainly have a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Perhaps you could tell everyone when you're going to be on
Do
the
you want me
road.
to do that? Yes, do it. Yeah.
Well, it was an outstanding issue from the last time the PCSO was here. So all I want to know is, have you had a report back with the data that you requested, or have you met up with the sergeant to discuss the data?
Okay. This started from looking at the online crime map, the blue coloured thing. I compiled some statistics from that for crime in Handforth, and there's been a very, very sharp increase, 67% of crimes in the residential half of Handforth, excluding Handforth Dean, in 2017. And I've kept that up to date, and the level is still as high in the current year. What also happened was that in 2014, the clear-up rate had dropped considerably from 24%, I think it was, and this last year it's dropped to 1.4%. So there are only 4 guilty verdicts and cautions out of 301 crimes. So I'd written to the Commissioner to ask what's going on about that, and I met with the statistics guy, a chap called Paul Woods, 3 or 4 months ago, and now I have met with Sergeant O'Driscoll. He's going to set up a process of recording in some more detail all of the crimes in Handforth so that we know more about what's behind those statistics. So we'll see where that goes. We'll know more about that in about 3 months, I guess.
Thank you very much, Councillor Talbot. Any other questions for the PCSO? No? Thank you, Karen. See you in March. 19039, update on the community infrastructure level. And Ashley is going to give us an update on this because he's been very hands-on with the strategic neighbourhood plan and the garden village, and I know himself, Roger and Brian have all been instrumental in supporting our objections, but most of all Brimley, our consultants, have done a wonderful job. Over to you, Ashley.
Okay. As we all know, back in December, I think it was now 19th, something along those lines, the independent examiner published his executive summary of his main findings. I won't go into any great detail, but obviously amongst the important one to Handforth is main finding D, apply the Zone 4 rate of £71 per square metre to the Handforth Garden Village site, which effectively means for every square metre of development applicable, the developers have to pay £71 in community infrastructure levy over to Cheshire East Council, of which the parish council should receive a 25% share of that. Roger kindly put some information together. I've got a few bullet points. It's all from Cheshire East website on sale, just to sort of keep everybody up to date in the loop of what's going on. The Still Examiner's report were debated at the CEC Full Council meeting on the 21st of February 2019. With a view to an adoption date, the Council's SIL draft charging schedule is expected to be adopted and come into effect on the 1st of March 2019. It will then apply to all relevant planning permissions granted from the 1st of March 2019 onwards. The SIL rate for Handforth, as we said, is, where is it now? The examiner's report is, if the examiner's report is accepted by CEC, the Garden Village site, the safeguarded lands, the south of Garden Village site, and all other parts of the parish still designated to Greenbelt will attract a levy of £71 per square metre.
Hang on a sec, slow down. You're saying that in the SIL, Cheshire's, if they accept the report, that'll be £7.
No.
£71.
£71. Okay, per square metre.
Per square metre.
And then you give another figure, didn't you?
Of applicable development. The £71 is the overall levy total. 75% of that goes to Cheshire East. The 25% of that £71 figure comes to the parish council.
Right.
So Clark, sorry, through you, Chair. Is it that I understand that's based on property valuations?
No.
Square foot.
Square metre is built
Yeah.
All right.
Square meterage.
on residential.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're saying that you reckon funding from that, it's likely that they will accept that.
Yeah, the examiner's report, they either have to accept it all or reject it all.
Yeah, so it's not a God given yet.
It's not a God given.
No.
It'd be highly unlikely that they'd reject it. Let's just all.
It's very likely they will accept it.
Yeah.
There is another issue which I don't think, well, we can't do anything about anyway, but it's conceivable that the date by which it will be adopted would be after the first planning permission for the Garden Village is registered.
Speak to Engine of the North tomorrow.
Now,
Because they've assured us that
it should be that that isn't the case, but it isn't.
No.
It depends on when it gets adopted.
Speak to Engine of the North tomorrow about that.
June.
That's going to be one of my
Yeah.
questions.
That'll be June, Brian,
Yeah,
not
June.
March.
Well,
The first planning commission. Oh,
yes, but
yes.
what I'm saying is if they delay the adoption of CIL, for example,
Oh, well, if they do that.
No.
I don't want them to do that.
you know, I mean, they've
I
been,
don't think they can do that, really, can they?
yes, they've been so devious in the past,
Well,
it's not impossible.
You know, it is an election year, isn't it? And I think they'll be wanting to sweeten everybody.
Can I just ask a quick question? Is it on the footprint, square meterage, or both floors? on
Both
the
floors.
Both
Both
floors,
floors are tracked.
any subsequent
It's
floors?
on the floor area.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
thank you.
For example, the average house would be 100 square metres,
Mm.
attracting a still levy of £7,100.
I still haven't got an answer to my question about whether that includes garages or not.
What about gardens?
The retail site already has a sill levy
66.
£66 per square metre.
Which is going to be pretty useful.
Retail,
The-
66.
Pounds per square metre, yeah, on the retail site.
Yes.
Yeah. Who has liability to pay the sale? Landowners are ultimately liable to pay sale, but anyone involved in the development may assume liability to pay on behalf of the landowner.
So it's a developer on behalf of Cheshire East.
Yeah.
Is it on the level?
Mysterious. Mysterious, that one, yeah.
It is.
For 70% of the
Yes.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily 70% of the built area.
Do you want to ask the question?
May I make a point? It could be that this parish council receives a substantial sum of SIL money much earlier than I had ever anticipated, because BMW, Halliwell Jones, have just submitted a reapplication for the site behind Marks and Spencer's. They are going to want to have that approved as soon as possible and to start work as soon as possible in building that, which
22nd of March getting determined.
Yeah.
they will then have to pay SIL within 60 days, I think it is, of the start of that work.
25% of the sale, I
And
think,
that-
isn't it?
I did a quick calculation, and the parish council might then receive £250,000 from it.
Does that count as retail then?
It will do,
Yeah,
yes.
comes under retail.
It does actually fall into the retail area.
The
Yeah, I
pro-
checked.
The problem with the initial application was
Really?
that they didn't think it
Here,
was
get
B1,
Brian, you can see
B2 or
the retail
B8
area.
employment use. And so it's going to have to become retail use as the Earl Road site, the old airport site.
Okay.
Pretty much the next point. When does SIL become payable? A development becomes SIL liable from the date planning permission is granted, not when the planning application is submitted. SIL is payable to the charging authority within 60 days of commencement of the development. I think that's all I really wanted to say, unless anyone's got any questions on SIL.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashley. And once again, thank you to Brian, Roger, and Alan Murdoch, and Grimley's our consultants, because I think without you four, we wouldn't have been in the position that we were. And I think it was money well spent
We wouldn't, I was
Grimley's.
I was very surprised that Wilmslow didn't put anybody in, because they've had their heads cut off for a result.
I know.
Can we write to Ridley, expressing our gratitude?
Yeah,
Which I'm glad
yeah.
to
Thank you.
express the council's
I know I did ask
Send them a brief
Ashley
email.
to send
Yeah, that's fine.
a thank you to you all for the work that you do. Thank you very much. 190310, to receive recommendation from the HPC Finance Committee in respect to a grant application received from Haynes totaling £1,000 towards facilitating easier deployment of carriages and locomotives for the miniature railway in Meriton Road Park via a crane system. And Councillor Smith is going to speak to this motion, and then all councillors will have opportunity to raise their questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As we went through this in the Finance Committee for Councillor Clark's benefit, I've had a vote and are recommending that the grant be applied put to full council for confirmation. I'd like to ask if there's anybody got any questions that haven't been answered that perhaps the chair of HMES can answer, should there be any that are outstanding.
Chair, I'd like to raise the issue of the it's an aside really to this particular issue, but it's important. HMES intend to develop their infrastructure within the park. That was based on the